Greetings, families. Mr. Koga here with a little explanation of the packet sent home on back to school night. I'm going to put another copy of this packet in your child's blue folder tomorrow when they get sent home. And this packet covers some math resources and then some writing resources as well. So let's jump into it. Okay, so on the front, these are math strategies, and these are basically all the math strategies that we're going to cover in second grade, and pretty much all of them that we really use regularly in mathematics. Now, the cool thing is that with these strategies, your child is only responsible to know or to get comfortable and familiar with the one that makes sense to them. It's not like they have to memorize all of these and get masterful at all of them. The best strategy for your child is the one that makes sense to them. So if they like to decompose and break it up by place value, awesome. If they like to do an open number line, great. If they like to do doubles or near doubles, that's great too. But the other piece of this puzzle is that these are all fundamental skills that sort of build and play with each other. Like with the doubles and near doubles, you'll use that knowledge to solve bigger ones like this. And there's a lot of relationships and links between them. So your child should try to master at least one. But if they can master all of them, why not? Because when you master more math strategies, you just see more interconnectedness and more context when you're doing the mathematics. So again, your child just has to try to master one that they're comfortable with, but then as they open up and they start to be exposed to more and more strategies, they'll start to see the math more connected in different ways. The back is subtraction. Here are all the different strategies. And the strategies are like the recipe. So if we think about mathematicians like we think of chefs, the math strategies are the recipe that we follow. But the math tools are things like a number rack, a 100 chart, an open number line. There are the utensils that we use to execute the recipe. So that is something that's fundamentally important for us to understand, is that the math strategies are how we solve. The math tools are the things that we use to solve and organize and to compute. Okay, on to the most powerful and my favorite math tool in second grade. Now, this is just great because it helps students to understand patterns and sequencing. And when we do math on the 200 chart, it's very organized and very logical. So it helps kids to overcome things that we haven't even learned yet. Like I'll give you an example right now. Like if we do something with regrouping, we haven't really learned how to do double-digit regrouping, but here I'll show you how we can overcome it with ease. So the first problem I'll try out, let's try starting at 47 and let's add 58. Inherently, the 7 and the 8 will trigger the regrouping or the carry by 1. That's how we learned it, carry by 1. So let's start at 47 and we're going to add 58. To add 50, we're going to jump down 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to add 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 105. But had we added those numbers through a standard algorithm that is procedure-based, that hides this movement, that movement going down and across, that's huge for understanding conceptually what's going on with the mathematics. But look, if I do 47 plus 58, all of that movement gets hidden. This is all something that you need to understand what that is. And when we were taught back in the 90s and the 80s, or even in the early 2000s, this carry the 1 was just do it because I told you so. Don't worry about what it means. Don't worry about understanding the mechanics of it. Just do it. But we understand that carry the 1 comes from when we travel from 97 and we go past 100. We're carrying the 1. We're regrouping. We're going to the next level of tens. Okay, so 200 chart, I love it for that reason. Let me do actually one more. Let me do one more just so you understand how this goes. So I'm going to add, let's do, again, we're regrouping. 94 plus 27. I'm going to go down 2 spaces for 20. 1, 2. Over 7 for the 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Easy as pie. Okay, open number line time. So the open number line will allow students to fly beyond the 200 chart, because with the 200 chart, this is supporting students up to 200, but once they go beyond this, conceptually in their minds, they'll be able to abstract and see and visualize larger numbers. But drawing them one-to-one, like drawing 300 or something, or drawing like 200 blocks, that's impossible. Or not impossible, but that's ridiculous. So let's do an open number line. I'll do an example. Let's do, again, these tools can help the kids to overcome stuff that we haven't even learned yet. That's the power in these math tools. So I'm gonna give you a big one. Let's do 179 plus 85. Already, with the ones, there's gonna be a regrouping that gets triggered, even with the tens. So we have 2 layers of regrouping. And if you did it procedure based like this, 179 plus 85, there's a lot of mechanical stuff happening here. So let's try and solve it. So we got 14, 8 plus 8, 16, 264. But where was the math? Where was the thinking? Where was the connecting? Where was the visualization here? Let's go to the open number line. So I'm gonna start at 179 on the open number line. And then I'm gonna jump 80. And you can just do it as simple as that, jumping 80. So now that is gonna change. And when I look at 179, if I look at it as 17 tens instead of 107 tens, this becomes much easier. Because 17 plus 8, oh, I know that one, that's 25. Then I just bring over this 9 to the ones. So that's where I'm at now. Now I have to take care of this 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land right there. So if I'm at 259, I'll go 260, 261, 262, 263, 264. And then in class we say, did we just get the same answer? Did we just become best friends? So you can see the procedure hidden, all the math thinking is trapped inside of here in these secret little codes. But when you do an open number line, you can see spatially, you could see distance, you can see the actual process of what is happening mechanically with the numbers. Let's go. So I love open number line. Okay, last thing we gotta show you about the writing. So for second grade, we're moving past the first grade writing, where first graders would do an opening sentence and they would give 3 reasons, like that, and a closing sentence. The metaphor I use for our writing is a peanut butter and jelly style of writing, because the first reason we give is going to tell the reader why we think what we think, or why we feel what we feel. We're going to follow that up with an explain sentence. And what I explain that as is, it's almost like a comment on a post. You're reacting, you're elaborating, you're giving an example, you're making a connection. So you're gonna do first blah-de-blah-de-blah, and then explain about that. Next blah-de-blah-de-blah, explain about it, elaborate. Last blah-de-blah-de-blah, explain about it, and then we repeat with the closing sentence and opening sentence. That's why I like this metaphor of the sandwich, because the opening sentence is very, very similar to the closing, and then we have these layers inside. It could be a ham and cheese, it could be anything, just PB&J worked out just because it's familiar. Okay, now, so this is the overall structure, and then you can look at this at your own time, but this is where we're starting in second grade. We're starting simple. We're gonna be making a regular peanut butter and jelly sandwich. An opening sentence, 1 reason, give me an elaboration, and then close off the paragraph. Why are we starting so simple? Even almost simpler than first grade. But the whole idea is that I'm looking for depth and not just speed. I want kids to be able to do this simple paragraph to the highest degree possible for these second graders. I want them to turn in their work that is done so beautifully. This simple activity done so well. Punctuation, capital letters, beautiful handwriting, accompanied with a lovely picture. If we can get them to nail this right now at the start of the school year, then when we dive into the deeper waters and we get to this level, it'll transfer over. It'll build onto the skills that we're already establishing. But if we jump into deep water like this, first day, then those students might feel like, wait a second, I used to like writing and now I don't know what's going on. Or it could feel like writing felt like a joy or an expressive task, and now it feels like a job. So we're building up to this point, and we're not just building up to it in terms of the length of work, but we're doing it in terms of a focus on quality. So again, this is the second grade level of writing, where you have an opening sentence, one reason, give me a reaction, another reason, elaborate, final reason, tell me more, and then we close it. And you see how closely these are related, that the kids can literally set up their papers with this and this already on the paper in their little planners. Okay, final thing, just elaborates more on what jelly sentences are, because the jelly is like, that is where critical thinking comes in. That is where the voice comes in. That is where perspective and life experience will come in. Because the peanut butter is the reason. It's your example. It's the meat of the sandwich. The jelly sweetens up those reasons. So the jelly will give an example for the peanut butter. It describes the peanut butter with more detail. It explains how the peanut butter makes you or someone else feel. And use those 5 senses. That's great for jelly writing. And you can also use metaphors or similes and give examples. Activate the reader's imagination. That's one thing that I tell the kids all the time, is like, activate the imagination of whoever is observing what you're doing. Make them see what you see. Make them jump inside your head. Just allow them to get a step inside or a view inside of what you are thinking by utilizing expressive tools like we do in our class. Okay, parents, hope that helped. Have a great day.